Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Molly. I am a librarian, a book lover, maybe even a book obsessive, and I am back filming a little more regularly on all of the new hot books that are entering the stratosphere. So I order books both for the public, and I also just order books for myself, the things that I think would be fun to read. So if you're interested in contemporary fiction and nonfiction, the buzzy titles, the ones that are getting, it book of the year buzz, then I think you would enjoy this channel. So please be sure to like this video, subscribe, all that stuff, and let's just get into it. So today I want to talk about my most anticipated 26 titles. I'm going to keep this brief because I have a lot that I'm really excited to read about, and I'm lucky enough to have a few advanced copies of some of these titles. So for those of you that don't know, you can get advanced titles through NetGalley, as well as you can apply for advanced listener collections through major publishers or book vendors, audiobook vendors such as Penguin Random House and Libro FM. So that's where I've been able to kind of get a really good collection of advanced copies. I'm really lucky and I'm really excited to talk about some of these today. So I would say probably my most anticipated book is Country People by Daniel Mason. Now, this is the author of North Country, which absolutely blew me away when it was released a few years ago. It was, I believe, I want to say published in 2023. It was the top book of the year for me and for a lot of people. For those of you that don't know, Daniel Mason is a physician and he also happens to be an incredibly talented writer. So his new book is due to come out on July 7th from Random House, and this is billed as a year in the life of a family as they strike out into the unknown, aka Vermont, leaving all the comforts of home behind. A rollicking lyrical novel from Pulitzer Prize finalist Daniel Mason, the best-selling author of Northwoods, like I just mentioned. This sounds amazing. I love anything about the woods. And this sounds like this is a family who is lost in the woods. It sounds very kind of mysterious and haunting because one line in the blurb of the book on NetGalley says that Miles stumbles upon a bizarre, perhaps ridiculous local legend, which he soon suspects might not just be legend after all. So Miles is our main character. He's a devoted husband, a doting father, and he is a bit lost. It says he's 12 years into his PhD on Russian studies and haunted by a sense that he's become a disappointment to his family. So very interesting. I can't wait to read this one. I feel like he can't miss for me. And yeah, it just sounds like it's gonna be a wild ride. Next most anticipated release of 26. Let's see here. I do have so many. Well, it is one that I've already read, which I did love, and it's probably my second most anticipated release of the year, and that's Whistler by Anne Patchett. So this comes out in, let me look. So this comes out on June 2nd, 26. Anne Patchett obviously is like a national treasure. She is beloved in both the literary world and I would say like the front list reader world, those readers who like to gravitate towards books that they know will do well at their book club, that it generates buzz within their circles. So this is about a woman named Daphne Fuller and her husband. They go to the Met in New York one day and they notice an older guy who's kind of sort of following them around. The man turns out to be her long lost ex-stepfather, former stepfather. I don't want to give away too much, but when Daphne is 9, her mom marries this man named Eddie Triplett, and she hasn't seen him for a number of years. But there is one really big, I would say, pivotal event in the book that changes the course of every character's life. And it has a super profound impact on both of them. And it was really interesting. It kind of felt like they were soulmates who were separated. And when I say soulmate, I mean that in, a platonic sense or a father-daughter sort of way. And the way that Patchett writes about inner dialogue and character motivations and how she can make really tragic situations feel so tragic that they're funny, like almost to the point where you have to there is some levity injected into these moments because otherwise we can't really learn from them. That lends itself to a really great story. And that is, Whistler is chock full of this. And it's just such an intriguing, interesting book where you are trying to figure out what is the root of their connection? Are they going to sustain this connection? What is the deal here? So it's an interesting take on choice, on memory, and on what it means to be a family. And I actually really enjoyed it. So I think it lived up to one of my most anticipated releases hype. Did that sentence make sense? I don't know, but you get what I mean. Yeah, okay. This next one is actually nonfiction, and not a huge nonfiction reader, but I'm trying to be better about it, right? So this next one is called London Falling, a mysterious death in a gilded city and a family search for truth. And this is by the Patrick Radden Keefe. He is the author of Say Nothing, which was, I think, a global hit. It was all about the strife in Ireland and how one woman disappears and it sort of sets off a chain of events. This sounds very similar in some ways. So this is billed as a spellbinding account of a family devastated by the sudden death of their 19-year-old son, only to discover that he had created a secret life which drew him into the dangerous criminal underworld that lies beneath London's glittering surface. Interesting. Very captivating. Just from the blurb alone, I like that there's definitely a bit of mystery and intrigue, but it also is clear that he took this reporting with a lot of care and gave agency back to the family of the young man who took his own life, which is just horrible. My gosh, this looks so sad. London Falling is a mesmerizing investigation of an inexplicable death and a powerful narrative driven by suspense and staggering revelations, but it's also an intimate and deeply poignant inquiry into the nature of parental love. My God. Yeah, I mean, anything this guy writes, I'm gonna read. So I think I'm gonna enjoy it. And I really like his nonfiction because it really does read like fiction. And I am intrigued to learn more about this poor young man who, again, lost his life. Let's see. Ooh, Love by the Book by Jessica George. This is the second novel by this wonderful author. She had her debut last year come out called Mame. I hope I'm saying that right. This is a British Nigerian author, and her books feel like a warm hug or like a long talk with a friend. It's like a juicy, deep, meaty conversation that you leave feeling kind of enriched and wanting to learn more, wanting to see that friend again. So this is about a woman named Raimi. Her debut novel, based on three best friends, became an instant bestseller when it was released, and her agent and publishers are clamoring for a follow-up. Her friends that the story it's based on, her friends are moving on too. So one is going to New York, one is pregnant, and one gets back together with her awful boyfriend. So Raimi feels really alone, and she's kind of stuck in trying to figure out what her next book will be. And then she meets a teacher named Simone. They see if they can connect as friends, and this really explores female friendship and how platonic love can be just as life-changing as romantic love. So excited to read this. It comes out actually in a few months, April 7th. And thank you, St. Martin's Press, for an advance copy of this book, as well as Macmillan Audio. I can't wait to read this. Jessica George is one of those instant read authors for me. Okay, next up, we have Python's Kiss by the Louise Erdrich. Yeah, Python's Kiss by Louise Erdrich. This author needs no introduction. She is a Pulitzer Prize and National Book Award winner, and she is releasing a beautiful new short story collection. So this has been written over the past 2 decades, and there's a range of characters, a tribal newsletter editor whose son tells her a story that nothing in her experience can encompass, immigrant farmers whose tenuous hold on the earth and sanity is challenged, and ordinary people, bird lovers, artists, grade school teachers, and romantics. I cannot wait to read this. Honestly, feel like this is our country's most important author, and she never disappoints. She is prolific and a legend, and I'm so grateful to have a copy of this. So this comes out on March 24th of 26 from Harper, and again, I'm so grateful for these advance copies. Oh, my dog is so cute. Sorry. And yes, I can't wait to get into it. Okay, the next book that I'm really excited to get into is called Lake Effect by Cynthia D'Aprix Sweeney, and this comes out on March 3rd of 26 from Harper. So the blurb for this says it's 1977, and an air of restlessness has settled on the residents of Cambridge Road in Rochester, New York, a place long fueled by the booming fortunes of Kodak and Xerox, and for some, the mores of Catholic Church. When Nina Larkin is given a copy of The Joy of Sex by her newly divorced friend, she can no longer dismiss the nearly non-existent intimacy of her marriage. Just as her oldest child, Clara, is falling in love for the first time, Nina finds herself longing for the forbidden. A midlife awakening, an intoxicating fling with a prominent neighbor brings Nina a freedom she never thought possible, but also risks the reputation of both families and unravels Clara's world, just as she stands on the threshold of adulthood. Okay. Yeah, this sounds amazing. So it sounds like Clara goes on to become a successful food stylist in New York, but the scandal haunted her. Even though it happened years ago, it continued to haunt her. But she ends up going back home, makes a pivotal decision that turns her life upside down. So this is the author of, I believe, The Nest, which was a huge hit. I want to say that was almost 10 years ago, but this is a book about loss, grief, mothers, daughters, love, desire, and what we owe the people we love the most. It sounds so good. Oh my God. So again, this comes out March 3rd. I feel like this is going to be a really popular and big book amongst book clubs, might even get optioned for a celebrity book club. I feel like it could even be optioned for a series, but I'm really excited about that one. Okay, my gosh. Here's a book that I'm currently reading, and can I just say, it is already knocking my socks off, and it is called Land by Maggie O'Farrell. It comes out on June 2nd. When I'm reading it, I feel like all of time stops, and I am so in it, and I'm so there with the characters that it's so intense. It is a deeply emotional book, but it's not a scary intense. It's just it's arresting. That's the word for it, arresting. So of course, Maggie O'Farrell is getting a lot of attention lately. Her novel Hamnet was recently turned into a film starring the beautiful Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal, and they're both obviously getting rave reviews, Oscar nominations, at least Jessie Buckley is, and she's returning. And this beautiful book is all about the land of Ireland in the years before and after the Great Hunger. Oh my God, where do we even begin? So we meet this man named Thomas and his son Liam, and they're working for the Great Ordnance Survey, which is British enterprise. The year is 1865. The country is still recovering from being ravaged by the Great Hunger, and this is a really hard task for Thomas. And he's determined that his maps are going to show the disaster. They're not going to wash over it. And then something happens to him. He goes off course and he goes into something called a copse, which is a group of trees in the middle of nowhere. His life, his family's life, it's never the same. And my gosh, it's so So good. This might actually take the spot above Whistler and maybe even Country People as being like my most anticipated. This novel has everything. It's like all about separation, rejoining, colonization, rebellion, treasure, woodland, and ancient rites, and sort of like whose land is whose, who gets to stake a claim, and sort of how the land remembers everything. We can record history, and yet it's not going to look the same for the land. Blown away, like blown away by this one. I do think that this one has huge potential for either like Booker nominations, National Book Award. I mean, I would even say like Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know. I don't want to go that far, but Nobel Peace Prize for Literature, because she is really nailing the devastation that comes with hunger and government enforced erasure. And she does it in a way that feels like anybody can relate to it. It's just beautiful. If I have one book that I really think you should read in 26, it's this one. Again, Land, Maggie O'Farrell. Do not miss it. Okay, a few more to go. I have so many on my list. This video is going to be long. Okay, Exit Party by Emily St. John Mandel. This comes out in September 15th, 26. Author of Station 11 and The Sea of Tranquility. Science fiction, elements of contemporary fiction. This is a novel about doubles, shadow worlds, fractured timelines, as a man disappears from a glittering LA party and a woman, a gun runner, an art collector, an operative of the state, searches for answers. The heck? This sounds amazing. LA, 2031. The first spring after the collapse of the United States, peacekeeping troops withdraw from the city. The jacaranda trees blossom, and the curfew is finally lifted. Mary Walker and her roommate pass the gauntlet of bomb-sniffing dogs, the shanty towns, and the Red Cross tents as they walk across. Ooh, like it's gonna be a doozy. So this is a novel about the price of safety, the perils of the surveillance state, a requiem for a world not unlike our own, and a breathtaking story of resilience in the face of cataclysmic change. Whoa, baby, that's gonna be intense, but so good. Okay, I feel like I need to like prepare for that one, prepare mentally, but I think it's gonna be incredible. Okay, I have so many more books, you guys. This is crazy. The next one is another nonfiction by the Jesmyn Ward. It's called On Witness and Despair. This comes out May 19th, 26. And these are collective creative non-fictions of Jesmyn Ward, including widely shared classics and 3 never-before published speeches and an introductory essay. So despair is a noun, and I don't think it's used often, but I feel like we need it now more than ever. It means fresh hope after despair. Whew. So I mean, if you read Jesmyn Ward, you know that she is a gift. Her writing is a gift. It's so timely. She ponders things in a way that is so graceful, so deft, so concise, and so taut and just gorgeous. Yeah, so everything in here talks about her tragedies and her approach to fiction and life. And the title essay of the collection tells the story of her partner's sudden death on the eve of the COVID-19 pandemic. Piercing and moving, On Witness and Despair is a testament to Ward's power as one of America's finest living writers. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Yeah, sign me up. I'm sat. I'm here. I love her. Okay. Last few, I promise, because this is going to be such a long video. Cool Machine by Colson Whitehead. Another, like, heavy hitter. I feel like 26 is the year of heavy hitters. This comes out in July 21st, 26. 1981, New York City. It's beginning to emerge from financial ruin and decline, energized by rampant real estate development and a Wall Street unchained by Reagan-era predatory capitalism. And this follows Carney, and I believe that this is a character from his Harlem trilogy, and this is the final volume in that trilogy. It sounds incredible, like a master storyteller. I love how he writes about New York and cities in general, how they're like another character. Really, I have not read the other ones, which is unfortunate. I'm not sure if you have to read the other two before. Like, I feel like he includes a lot of characters that like come in and out of his fiction, but I don't think that this is a continuation of one story. Anyway, I feel like if there's a new Colson Whitehead, you just have to read it. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, that was a lot of books. I don't even want to know how long this is gonna be, this video. If you're here to the end, you're a real one. And I cannot wait to hear what some of your most anticipated 2026 reads are. Leave them down below, leave me a comment. I'm hoping to post about once a week, if not more, as time allows. And I'm so happy to be back talking about books with you. And I hope that you're having a wonderful day wherever you may be. Bye.